Hello and welcome to another DF Retro Let's Play video on the PC Time Capsule. Today looking at Halo 2 for Windows Vista. Kind of a cursed release if you ask me, but today I'm not joined by my usual friend and colleague, John Lindemann, rather by someone special. A special guest here for Digital Foundry today, the fantastic Fami. How you doing there, Fam?
I'm doing okay. My Xbox is kind of dying for no reason, but it's fine. We had to spend like 2 days troubleshooting an IDE cable, but that's okay. That's just Xbox for you, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have one. I would love to have one, but I've only heard kind of horror stories about how hard they are to maintain.
They are becoming, like, they used to be super reliable. I have 3 of them by now, but one of them just died for no reason. It's not even the capacitor thing, the thing where, no, it's just, it died for no reason. I think it's the power supply. Another one, the drive doesn't work. This one is holding on to its life. I'm not letting it die. Like, I'm going to Frankenstein other parts into it if it's needed.
I've done similar things in the past before, just to keep it alive, even the tiniest bit, PC parts that is. But yeah, we're talking about Halo 2 on Windows Vista here, as well as compared to the original Xbox version over there. And I wanted to talk about this because it kind of represents a horrific time in PC gaming when a lot of companies were forsaking the platform, including Microsoft to a certain degree, and they wanted to drum up, excitement by releasing a game that came out 3 years ago. For PC and attach an online multiplayer price to it. So it was not exactly the greatest scheme Microsoft has ever come out. And actually, let's move forward a bit here and start the level out. And basically, I'm running this indeed on a Windows Vista PC.
Oh no, my Xbox got stuck. I don't know, this never happened.
This is a live recording, everyone.
I need to restart my Xbox. Hold on.
Yeah, just a little technical difficulty there.
Yeah, my Xbox dying for no reason.
Let's push forward. Let's push forward and embrace the Covenant as they come in. Let's talk a little bit about what machine I'm running this on, just really briefly. I'm running this on a Windows Vista machine, as I said earlier, and it is a one that kind of existed shortly before release, end of 2006. It's a 8800 GTX SLI, QX 6700, beastly, more than enough for this game, and I'm running it at 1024 by 768, 4 times MSAA, and some super sampling, because I think that looks really good. And you're just on that plain old Xbox.
Yeah, it's a Pentium 3 struggling to stay alive, and whatever NVIDIA chip they could cobble together. I mean, it works. I can't really complain, except when I can complain, like now, because it's dying. But then again, this Xbox is like probably, it's almost as old as me, so I can't really complain.
Yeah, Fami is a little bit younger than I am, but you also have your own YouTube channel, and which is kind of why I wanted to bring you on here, because you have an affinity for old Xbox and old consoles in general and old PC, and you've made a bunch of videos covering stuff like this.
Yeah, I tend to talk about whatever I find interesting usually, but I find this stuff very interesting. So a lot of my videos are about retro stuff. It's great.
Most recently, you covered unlocking the full portal on Xbox 360 just from the demo.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was sick to do. It's like it's an old method that I knew since like forever, because me and my friends, we were too broke to buy Portal, so we actually researched how to do it when we were kids. And yeah, I wanted to make a video on that thing since forever, because I wanted to understand how to make it work, and how it also worked behind the scenes, and I finally got to do a video. Also, it's a collab with Matt KC, and it's like, he's a fantastic actor. Like, it's genuinely great.
Oh yeah, he's great. Those are great. He kind of reprising his role from his his detective role.
The Windows 95 video, yeah.
So yeah, but speaking of Halo, Halo 2 Vista. The reason why this game is kind of so fascinating is because it does require Windows Vista, which at the time, kind of pre-release right into launch, had a less than positive reception. I don't know how much you know about Vista.
Oh yeah, I had a computer that shipped with Vista Home Premium, and it was a pretty beastly machine. Like I had in 2008. Which was, I think, one year after Vista came out. But it was like a Core to do a machine, 9600 GT, pretty good machine. It died after 1 year, and we constantly had to like take it to repair because it was constantly overheating. But when it worked, it was sick. Like it was generally a great computer. So I never understood the problems with Vista until like I tried a computer that was slightly below mine, and dear God, like, yeah.
The Vista was heavy, essentially. It was a lot heavier to run than Windows XP, and memory hungry, too. So it kind of got this bad reputation because pre-builts from manufacturers would... Oh, you're a little bit behind me. How did that happen? It's all right. Some pre-builts from manufacturers that were not as good as the machine I'm currently showing this on gave kind of Windows Vista a very bad reputation for being slow and horrible. On top of the fact that when it launched, a ton of third-party devs didn't have drivers at all ready. I think you have to go up the stairs.
Oh yeah.
Didn't have drivers ready, and so if you had like a printer and you plugged it in, it could potentially crash your entire PC and stuff. So it was known for being crashy, broken, and slow if you didn't have the specs.
So in my case, what I remember is that when we got our this fancy Windows Vista PC, we still didn't have a router. We were connecting to the internet using a USB modem, and that didn't work. So the drivers were simply not there. So I had this computer without the internet, and I had to download stuff through my old Pentium 3 and copy it like using a pen drive, like 1 month. It was insanely weird.
That's awesome. That's such a good anecdote. For me, I got my first Windows Vista PC in late 2007. That was an 8800 GT system.
Oh, damn.
So not as powerful as this, but it was great though. But this is more like the dream system I wish I had at the time. But I didn't have that negative Windows Vista experience. But following PC games at the time, I was feeling the whole, we're not going to port any games to PC thing that was coming around at that time. And you were feeling it from everywhere. You had people like Cliff Blazinski saying like PC is for Excel spreadsheets, Xbox 360 is where it's at. Everyone was kind of forsaking PC. But Microsoft, to try and hype their new operating system, decided to release a late port of Halo 2. And it's kind of good and bad at the same time for a lot of reasons, which I'll talk about in the course of this video. I think I keep pushing ahead for some reason. I got to pay attention more to where you are at.
Yeah, this is it's my first time playing Halo 2. I'm currently playing Halo 1. It's one of the few games that I missed on the Xbox. Even though I had an Xbox as a kid, me and my sister didn't really play Halo for no reason at all. Like it's a good game. We simply didn't.
It's a very good game.
Yeah, like I think it was because we were very into Half-Life and so like first-person shooters. We were covered for a while, and we never gave a chance to Halo. But not because it's great. It's one of the few games, like, I was shocked when I first played the first Halo because it's one of the few first-person shooters that is actually enjoyable to play on a controller.
Yeah, it's one of the ones I would say that kind of made it really good. John recently talked about that on DF Direct, and that's kind of one of the things about this release. PC didn't have any problems by the year 2007 having really good first-person shooters. So this late released port with all the baggage associated with it, it didn't really light up the charts or anyone's imagination at that time. Like, you had the Orange box this year. You had you had Crysis. You had Unreal Tournament 3. I mean,
it feels like
this year too.
It feels like a relic from the past, even though it's a good port, but it just simply came out too late, I think.
Yeah, so let's talk a bit about that porting. One thing is Windows Vista only. Is it true? Did Microsoft just want to sell this game? It's completely bullshit. to say the least. Shortly after release, people already figured out ways to install it on Windows XP. Essentially, the game, I think, it requires certain dev environment stuff and DLLs that would only be shipping with Vista. And people just worked around that by creating alternative installers for the program that don't use UXC, just like batch files. And I tried them out myself on 2 different Windows XP machines, as you're seeing right here on screen right now. On one machine that is very like 2004 era installed, but it ran like utter garbage. This game, even though it ran on the Xbox, which you're playing over there, Fahmy, its PC requirements are much higher on the CPU side of things. So that ran like garbage. But then I also installed it on like an AMD X2 3800 Plus. And that ran way better, like 60 FPS, more or less all the time at 800 by 600 max settings. So it can run on XP. Microsoft was just kind of arbitrarily limiting the game.
They wanted to push Vista so hard. Also, like, I remember them saying, "Oh yeah, this game definitely can't run on XP. It's gonna be the showcase of like why Vista is best," which is so funny in retrospect because it's simply not true.
It's like the anti-true. The fact that it runs that way better than it does on an Xbox, for example, on an XP machine. But so you got that. You also have the fact that the game on PC is kind of locked down because in this era they're terrified of piracy, and for semi-good reason, but also not really good reasons at the same time. And Halo 2 for Vista requires kind of like draconian levels of activation to work. Like most PC games at the time, you could, just like start playing them with the CD and a CD key. That's it. Here in Halo 2 Vista, you have to activate the game after the fact and use an Xbox Live profile. The activation is done via online. And the live profile thing makes it so that you always have to be kind of, well, not really, but there's an offline profile system, but it doesn't unlock the full game's feature set. And as a result of that, you kind of like, if you just play the game off disc, it's not as bad as Gears of War off disc, but it is like, I don't know, you don't have any access to the multiplayer stuff in the menu. It's like grayed out. Even LAN play is grayed out.
That's weird.
It's not great. For this video, I actually wanted to see what that activation process was like. So unfortunately nowadays, the server to activate the game doesn't work. You just kind of endlessly goes when you try and do it.
Yeah, that's a classic for Microsoft. Like they turn off the online servers and you have to call in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I had to do for this video, and I'll play a little sample right here for you in the audience to hear what that's like.
Please visit support.xbox.com from your PC or mobile device for assistance with your inquiry. Again, that was support.xbox.com. Would you like to hear that again?
No.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Would you like to hear that web address again?
No, I would not like to hear that web address again.
Please visit support.xbox.com from your PC or mobile device for assistance with your inquiry. Again, that was support.xbox.com. Would you like to hear that again?
No, I would not like to hear that again.
Please visit support.xbox.com.
Getting back into it, as you can tell by that phone call that I just played off a minute ago,
yes.
It's not exactly easy in the year of our Lord 2024 to activate this game, but I got it working. So I've got a full, real Windows Vista install of Halo 2 here, and it runs pretty all right. Like, I expected worse because it's kind of got an infamous reputation due to it being attached to Vista and all this other crap. But it's actually pretty okay. There's only a couple like slight hiccups here or there that I've seen so far while playing the game. Like, I would say one really stupid thing is that like the game's limited to 60 FPS but a game from that time period, not so surprising always. It starts off with a weird ultra high gamma set, and there's like a special option in the menu called gamma-ness. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Gamma-ness? What?
Like, I'm seriously. Read the description. It says you read the description and it says adjust gamma-ness. I'm pretty sure it says that. And
Wow, okay.
I really don't know why. So the game looks ridiculously like bleached out when you start it up. Like it's awesome looking. So a lot of people have like a memory of the game looking like that, and you really wouldn't know that that was the issue unless you kind of knew something about like graphics in games. And I don't know why they made it default, but there's a couple other weird stuff like their cinematics are actually run at 60, but the animations are at 30, but the frame pacing's broken, so it looks like really jittery as hell, I would say. But other than that, it's like okay. It's just okay, and like as you can see in here right now, if you did have a great machine like I've got, it ran pretty well. And even if you had a crappy XP machine like I showed earlier,
it's better than Xbox.
It's better than Xbox.
Yeah.
The Xbox version of this game is so interesting. I don't know how much you know about Family, but like, it's a game that had like a troubled development.
Yeah, I remember that like I remember the trailer for it was entirely fake or something. Like they just faked everything, and then they had to crunch to make it actually exist. So this game can like barely run on this hardware.
Yeah, John covered it once before on the channel. The E3 demo was held together by duct tape for this game. It was absolute BS in a lot of places. Like where there were some things that they showed it and didn't show because like the demo would crash if you even like moved off of like rails for a little second. And it was also running a version of the rendering of the game that was very different, where this game originally, like Doom 3, was designed around the usage of the technology called stencil shadows, which you can see here. Then the name of the renderer was called P Stencil, and it was kind of like Doom 3, where every single thing, if you like look at a grunt here on the ground, like any of the dead enemies, you'll see there's like tons of really high, I would say for the time, highly detailed normal maps on them.
Yeah.
And the game was designed around shadows, showing those off, and lighting that would show that off, like really distinct specular sheens. But the game that couldn't run on Xbox just never would have, given the game's like extreme level size and all these other things. So they scrapped it and they went with like traditional baked shadow map lighting. And as a result, I don't know, I'd say this game looks worse than the original Halo graphically in a lot of ways, because they designed the levels and a lot of the characters and all these other things for a certain lighting that they never ended up shipping. And it just looks, I mean, it's okay, but it also kind of just looks weirdly washed out and like, I don't know, like, can you imagine her with like good shadows?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like when you slightly change the lighting, it can really f up everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a big part of like designing a game, because everything is connected to lighting. So switching it late in development is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it didn't really pan out for the game's visuals, but there's some other cool stuff in the game that is obviously still present in the Windows Vista version. Like, I don't know if this level showed off really well. Like here, for example, here, like there's some boxes.
Yeah.
Like, okay, obviously we got our Half-Life 2s out there. We know physics exists, but in console land at this point in 2004, having a bunch of really cool box physics, like that's the stuff, man.
I am thinking about the awful port of Half-Life 2 to Xbox. It's running like 16 FPS most of the time.
We covered that on the channel before. It's like impressive that they even managed it.
Yeah.
But it runs so bad that like it's definitely not the way I wish I played the game. I think that's the way you played it back in the day. Didn't you say that to me once before?
No, I actually, so I did play it when I was a kid, but it was as a curiosity. The first time I played Half-Life 2 was on that Vista machine actually. But then I also got the Xbox version because me and my sister were like, okay, we want to play this game on the big TV too. Right. And that was a bad idea. Like it wasn't a good experience. Yeah. One of my friends played through the entirety of Half-Life 2 for the first time there, and then discovered that wasn't the way it was meant to be played. He just assumed the game would slow down on any platform.
Oh, it's like a retro shooter that slows down when you shoot a boss or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. What's fun is that we have Half-Life 2 on Xbox, but we don't have Half-Life 1. The PS2 has a great port of Half-Life 1.
I always wonder why that ended up happening, because Xbox got Counter-Strike.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, I was looking into that because I was wondering if I could actually make the Half-Life 1 maps work on that engine because it's still Ghost Source. But no, they modified it. Like the map, everything is different. The formats they're using for the files, for the map, for the textures is all like different, slightly different for some reason. It's a specific Xbox version. It's like
that's such a shame.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think like someone who knows enough about the Hammerhead editor and like Gold Source could make it work, but that's not me. I know how to use Hammer. I don't know how to reverse engineer map formats right now. That's not my.
Yeah, I mean, for like this time, like it's kind of funny. Like we were just saying, like on PC there was like no shortage of good first-person shooters. So this game coming out in 2007 is such like a wet fart. But you know, Xbox, you know, you got your Halo. Like I don't. You got Doom 3 eventually, but you don't actually have a lot of ultra awesome first-person shooters. Red Faction. I don't even know if the first Red Faction is on Xbox. I think it is. I don't know. Red Faction 2 is. That's for certain.
I think it is. I don't know. But yeah, first-person shooter-wise, I think there is a Soldier of Fortune port for the Xbox.
Oh, the first or the second game? I don't actually recall. Maybe it's the second one.
Yeah, I played the first one on PC when I was a kid on my Pentium 3 with my sister, and that one was sick. And I think that there is a port on the Xbox. I have to check it out though. I remember hearing about it.
That is a good one though. But so one thing about the port that everyone talks about nowadays is that, so I just described that like runs more or less fine. The fact that it required games for Windows Live for the multiplayer is ridiculously funny. Like pay $50 a year to get a friends list and the ability to play in non-dedicated servers. I think it's like peer-to-peer. It's like, are you serious? In 2007, that definitely would not have gone down well. And in fact, it didn't. Games for Windows Live was eventually they dropped the price.
Yeah, I remember. I also remember the massive backlash when GTA 4 launched with it.
Yes.
That game was barely running on any computer like on its own, and you also just staple on games for Windows Live, and
that's another one that I want to do on the channel one before for this style of video, because I have that version on disc, and I'm curious to see how it runs on a PC of the time period. I recall it running poorly.
Yeah, I remember every single review. I remember every single review of the PC version was like, just buy it on console, because which like is a terrible thing to say, honestly.
No, it's usually like the worst thing to say, because it's like the PC version of a game can always potentially be like the best for an eternity, right?
But in this case, apparently, it was so badly optimized. I mean, even today, like, it's so funny because the game runs better if you're using the DXVK translation engine, which is insane. Like, you can run the game better if you're using Vulkan with a translation layer than the native thing. Like, and it is on Windows, so it runs better on Windows with something meant to be a translation layer for Linux.
I know. I always find that so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Just look at this room here. Just wait. Sorry. So this is like a room where I can say like with 100% certainty that the change of lighting really ruined the way it looks. Like I could imagine with like super moody lights and shadows that like these really cool like normal maps would look, I don't know, lit. But now they just look like a stencil, like someone like a line drawing.
Yeah.
Almost. I don't know if you can
get
see
what
that.
you mean.
But yeah, just so some things that this port doesn't do well, other than the Games for Windows Live requirement, is that it kind of introduces bugs that ended up following this game all throughout its history of being eventually ported to other platforms via the Halo Master Chief Collection, where I think weapon shooting speeds are different. I think a number of animation speeds are wrong because the game can be unlocked up to 60 FPS. There's a number of visual things that aren't right. The only thing is it's hard to see them in our video because I was looking for them online, and most of the time the differences are actually a lot more minute than like Halo CE's port, where the original Halo port is like notoriously botched.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
this is
yeah.
this is like better in a lot of ways than that. So it's like it's not as embarrassing as that, but it still introduces issues that still affect the most recent version of Halo to this day, which is kind of crazy. I'm also playing on a controller, by the way. This is like one of those really cool games from the period that supported the Xbox 360 controller
Oh,
natively.
nice.
And it's fine on mice and keyboard, but I'm going to show some footage off of it here. Another thing that I found with the port is that it runs fine at 60, but for some reason, like, if you rotate the mouse at the same time while strafing or circle strafing, it judders. Like, there's judder in the camera movement. So it looks really awkward. It almost looks like you're dropping frames when you really aren't. Yo, that gun is just messing you up, Fammy. Holy crap.
Yeah. I'm taking cover and I'm praying, essentially. Should work.
You're playing Gears of War in Halo? I love it.
Yeah. I'm currently playing the first Halo in the Master Chief Collection, and something that I noticed and was confirmed to me is that I'm not using the new textures because they don't just look weird. They don't just look weird, but the hitboxes are not matching. So you shoot at something that is not there.
Holy crap. Okay,
Yeah.
well, yeah, that sounds not like the way I would play it. I just find it not very good looking. The Saber, that's the Saber
Yeah,
version
yeah.
of the game. Saber Active.
It doesn't look good at all. It's, I don't know. So I'm playing with the original textures there, and yeah, that's way bad. Can I find a better gun here because I'm out of ammo? Let me steal
They should have
some.
dropped.
Wait, yeah, it's here. I got stuck. Okay.
Hit X.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. I think I launched a grenade without realizing.
I love it, by the way, when both of you and I are trying to talk and play at the same time. Oh my god, I hope I don't die. Is that we're ignoring some of Halo's like I would almost say unique gameplay stuff. Is like, if you look at the stuff from the time period, you either have like Call of Duty where you just constantly go to iron sights and just shoot people and they die really quickly.
Yeah.
Or you have like your Unreal Tournament almost, where everyone knows how that plays. But Halo's like a bit slower and it mixes shooting. It's got like bread and butter, like shooting, grenades, and then smashing stuff with the B button. Yeah, and we've been ignoring all that and just like blindly shooting everything.
Yeah.
I haven't used the grenade this entire time other than to show off
I used them by mistake, and I was like, cool. Maybe they're going to help me. I got. Yeah.
Master Chief is learning how to fly.
Like
but yeah.
the gunplay here makes the gunplay in Half-Life look so basic in Half-Life 2, because Half-Life 2 is like just a run and gun. It's like so basic, to be fair. I mean, it works, but it is very basic.
Yeah, I'm like one of those people that really love Half-Life 2, but also understand like a lot of the criticisms about it, about being like.
In my case, I think the plot and the physics are awesome, but the gunplay in the first game was way better. I will stand by that. I just think that the fact that it was built on an arcade shooter engine made it actually better, like as a gameplay wise, essentially.
Oh yeah, I'd agree with that 100%. I also think I just love the way like the grunts in the original Half-Life react to the player.
Oh yeah.
And, the Combine are cool in the second game too. Don't get me wrong, but I just love the way the grunts look and sound and interact with. It reminds me of like an early version of Fear, like the way.
Oh yes. Because they're always like they're acting synchronized, and they also communicate vocally, so you can hear what they're going to do. It's so good.
Yeah. That's one thing that actually Halo does really well too. We're talking right now, but one of the things that I think that makes Halo interesting and Halo 2 interesting, and I guess it carries over to the latter games to a good degree, is that like the grunts and the elites and even the Marines all talk and call out what they're doing at times, and they also like after you finish a fight, like the Marines will like shoot the corpses on the ground and say like something like "and stay down," like some sort of hard, 80s one-liner. There's like little details like that I think made people really endeared to Halo and its like universe. and like the grunts talking, and like they're hilarious. And that's stuff that's kind of missing from a lot of shooters of the day. I've gone back and played a lot of shooters from the era 2000 to 2010, and a lot of them are just garbo.
Games, I think that right now games tend to take themselves too seriously sometimes, like to their own detriment.
Yeah, that I would 100% agree with that. I mean, it's also there's not a lot of first-person shooters these days, interestingly enough, other than multiplayer ones. Single-player first-person shooters are kind of not in vogue anymore.
That sucks.
Fabby's almost got it.
Okay, so.
Oh, we got it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, let's continue. Let's go over here.
I need to go here. Okay. I'm slowly
class.
getting it.
Oh,
Yeah, I played Halo 1, but I'm not familiar with Halo 2. Also, I'm not familiar with like
this level. Here, come over here.
Yes.
So come back down here to this thing on the ground. You'll see it. Yeah. Take a left.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
I mean, but also Halo 2 plays differently than Halo 1 in a lot of key ways. Like, there's no health in Halo 2, which is kind of, I don't know. I actually really love the health system in Halo 1. So, but that's another thing. Like, Halo 2 introduced no health. It introduced dual wielding. It introduced vehicles being like break apartable. Like, you can break them up. But that means like in multiplayer, I don't know. It's like easier to die in a vehicle in this game almost, or is it less easy? I forget. But there's a couple other things where it actually changed up Halo pretty hardcore. And then the fact that the game shipped on console with online multiplayer, which kind of changed everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like probably one of the most, at least for this time period, most influential online multiplayer games on the console side.
I remember the big two that year were Halo 2. I mean, I was 6, so I can't really. But I remember it was like Halo 2 and Project Gotham Racing 2.
Oh my God, PGR2 is sick.
So good. I missed that saga so much. Like, I think it's one of the few games where you actually enjoy the act of driving in the races, because you're not just being pushed to be first, but also to like do sick stuff and get points for that, like drifting and stuff. Forza has some of that because they have some of the team from the Project Gotham Racing games, but it's not the same.
It's like SSX for cars.
Yes.
I love that kind of stuff. And in fact, recently, when I just covered Forza Motorsport again, like last week, I ended up using the PGR music, at least the menu music and the credits music, stuff that wasn't so easily takedownable on YouTube in the background, because I was like, playing Forza just makes me want to play PGR, actually.
Yeah. Like, what I don't like about Forza Horizon is that right now it's a roulette. Like, if you want to unlock stuff, it's all random mostly. Like, it's not... Something that I like about PGR is that you have clear goals. You have to get this amount of points to do this stuff. In Forza right now, they are trying to make everything pay to win, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also not super psyched about the open world stuff always in most games, even though it's cool. Like in a racer, it's not the usual thing, but
I am like one of those people that think, for example, Burnout was better before Paradise. I mean, Paradise is a cool game. It changed racing games forever. But I also miss the older Burnout formula with like confined races, because I think it had its own vibe.
Yeah, it had its own vibe, and also kind of like if you look back here at Halo 2, like this is a dedicated story. Yes, it has linear campaign missions, which seems old school these days based upon the current design trends. But like if you look what they did with Halo Infinite, they open worldified the game structure, and I would say it's not to the betterment of the game itself. I don't know. I'm not so psyched about open world stuff in games these days. Actually, as soon as you get to the end of this area, once you get to the bomb at the end of that tunnel, and I'm praying that you do not die. I'm just praying. We'll see in the cinematic that I'm pretty sure one of the issues with this version on Halo 2 Vista is that the Master Chief's visor is the wrong color.
Oh, okay. What?
Yeah, it's not as orange. They it's like so for some reason when they ported like the shading over, some of the cube maps, which is like what defines the color of his visor, it's like way grayer on PC. It's a lot more saturated on Xbox.
I just found out I can shoot from both guns at the same time. It's a game changer now.
Oh man, I should have told you that. I feel like
I was assuming there wasn't like a thing. Okay, this is way easier now.
So one thing that we'll see when you after you just destroy that dude with the dual wielding plasma rifles, I should play the cutscene any second now.
Yes. Okay.
One thing you should also see on the Xbox version, I know that it happens in like pretty much every cutscene that we're going to be seeing right now. I'll be showing this. So it came out late. The game came out late. They changed the render to not use the really bad stencil shadows. Game looks kind of ugly as a result. But they also they had all these like really distinct, unique textures built across these really long levels. And they were streaming these levels in. And as a result, they also had to stream in textures. And this was one of the first times I think I ever saw it in a game. If I recall, back on Xbox when it launched. And every single time the camera cuts, in most cutscenes, there's always like 4 to 5 frames where everyone looks like mud. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
It'll definitely happen when they get planetside here. But this is the original trailer for Halo 2. You could probably line these up if you wanted. I don't know if I want to do that for this video, but this is like where the Master Chief, gets out of that really awesome looking corridor with the blinding light, and there's all these stencil shadows on him. Here, though, they didn't end up using stencil shadows because they threw out that renderer and they used just standard shadow maps, which that's pretty cool, but as you can see, they're like totally blocky as a result. Not as nearly as cool as how that would have looked. Man, what a
I also wonder if a lot of this was like due to them developing this on not DevKit Xbox, which is like double the RAM.
Yeah, I mean they probably had to squish everything in. Like you always hear that kind of story with Xbox where, I mean they had a lot of RAM for the time, but still the game's ambitions and a lot of them being PC ports, they would still run out of RAM. Actually, the Xbox you're playing this on, how are you recording this, and what is your Xbox like? Because there's like huge modding scene for Xbox.
Yeah, this Xbox is pretty stuck. I didn't like put more RAM in because I'm not confident at soldering the RAM. Right now, it's a 1.4 Xbox. I just modified it to be soft modded and it has a hard drive. But it's pretty bone stock. I think it's a good representation of the average Xbox.
1.4. Do you know how many revisions of Xbox there are? Because I don't know.
1.0 to 1.6.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I have a 1.62, which is supposed to be the most reliable one, and it's dead for no reason. It doesn't have the clock capacitor plague. It just died. It's also a crystal model. It looks sick. It is basically new. Because the person who sold it to me never removed the protection plastic, so it's perfect.
Oh, so it looks like pristine.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So my plan right now is I either bring it back to life, or I just take the case and put another Xbox there because it looks sick.
I mean, I would keep the case at least. I mean, I hope it's resurrectable. Some old GPUs and stuff are like, that's one thing that I always feel bad about is like occasionally I've bought a GPU from random internet websites or from eBay and it's not tested and I'm like, okay, and I get it and it's dead, or it's like memory artifacting, and I'm like, I don't know how to fix this. I don't know anyone who can fix this.
No, but for the Xbox here, it's probably the power supply. I think that's the most common problem, and I can just take another one from another Xbox and it should work.
So at some point in the future, though, there's going to be a limited supply of Xbox.
No, but
supplies.
they are already making third-party ones. I think.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I think I've seen a few videos about that. So.
Okay, good. Well, that's great. Yeah, here's a scene where we'll definitely be seeing some of that texture swapping going on.
Yeah.
But man, look at that.
Oh god. You can see how the game is struggling to load in the textures in real time. It's like, I can do it.
Yeah, the performance also not so great in Halo 2 in the campaign at some points. Halo 1 kind of ran okay. It also had some scenes that ran really poorly. Here's an area where we can see some of those real-time shadows that they did end up adding in with this flashing light on this dude in the corner. It's also where we get some of the introduction. Also, I'm pretty sure that due to the enhanced frame rate here, that the flashing light speed is higher on PC, unless that's just me. Like, does it look like it's flashing faster for you?
Yeah, it is flashing faster, I think. They didn't even bother. This is reminding me of like how every game, like this game is using Bungie's engine, but I'm thinking about how every Gold Source game and Source game and like Quake all have the same pattern for like flashing lights. They didn't ever change it.
Oh yeah, I love that. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Yeah, if anyone doesn't know what Fami's talking about, there's probably a video out there that showcases this really well. Like they all use the same light function.
Because if it works, you don't change it. So.
This is a level where we see for the first time, well, a lot of stuff, like the new hunters, the way they look. I think you get some of the weapons for the first time, sniper jackals. Oh, so you were playing Halo 1 right now. I'd say Halo 1's enemies are generally very fair. Some are harder to kill than others, but there's like a general rock, paper, scissors. Yeah, it's pretty fair. But Halo 2 introduced these enemies that we'll get to in a second here called sniper jackals, where it's the jackal enemy with the shield, but doesn't use the shield, and it hides in corners in dark places with, on higher difficulties, a sniper rifle that kills you in one shot.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and it's like playing whack-a-mole, essentially. The game becomes like memory whack-a-mole, where you have to replay the area multiple times, and then you die to like one dude who's just in the corner.
They're essentially gamifying save scumming.
Yeah, and this game also has another thing that Halo did really interesting for the time is like a pretty cool checkpoint system that a lot of games didn't have. Like a lot of games, especially if they're PC-based first-person shooters, it was save scumming or limited saves, like 5 or something like that. I'm actually using grenades. Wow.
I've been using them at start level and they're helping me tremendously. They seem to be pretty powerful.
So actually, what is your first memory of playing Xbox games?
The first game that I played on Xbox was Forza Motorsport 1, because we got it with the Xbox. And then we got a bunch of random games. One of the games that I think are underrated on the first Xbox is the Futurama platformer. I don't know if you know the one.
No, I've seen the graphics though. It very much so looks like the television show.
Yeah, it looks great. It gets a bit dull in like the ending levels. At the end, it gets a bit repetitive, but it's a good game. And I think it's also one of the most expensive games on Xbox. It's like $100 to get a copy right now because it's pretty rare. So me and my sister played a lot of that. What's going on? Wait. No, it is freezing. Wait, my Xbox got stuck. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And everything that can go wrong is going wrong. This is insane. I never had this many problems.